What's up everyone, back for another beer review, and today is the continuation of Mixed Six Pack Theme Month here on the channel. And the beer I'm reviewing today comes from the Boulevard Brewing Company, and they're out of Kansas City, Missouri. And this is their Tank 7, which I believe is still a part of their Smokestack series. So they're calling this an American Saison Ale, which is basically a farmhouse ale. Comes in at 8.5% alcohol by volume, 38 IBUs at the time of review. This beer is a bit older than I thought it was going to be. Now, they have a best by date of September 7th of 2019 on the bottle, and we're about 2 weeks away from that date at the time of this review. So we're cutting it close. But then I realized they have another date above it that looks like an actual bottled on date, and it's December 11th of 2018. So they probably give this beer specifically 9 months before they're like, all right, it's no longer fresh. So this is about 8.5 months old, and this is the oldest bottle of Tank 7 that I've had personally. More often than not, when I have this beer, it's usually relatively fresh. I think the oldest I had a bottle maybe was like 3 or 4 months old. So 8.5 months old, a bit older, but whatever, we should be fine. So yeah, full disclosure, I've had this beer numerous times before, and I feel like this is one of the more classic American brewed Saisons. It's quite delicious. I've had it, like I said, numerous times, and Matt over at Massive Beer Reviews, when I posted the vlog showing the final 7 beers I was reviewing for the theme month, he was like, no need to review Tank 7. It's a win. Yeah, no, it is. It's a win. It's a great beer. But I wanted to review it because I haven't reviewed it, and I hadn't had this beer in a couple of years. And yeah, I just remember it being quite delicious. And I'm not even a huge Saison guy. Like, when it comes to Belgian beers, I've mentioned this before. I like the bigger, like, quads and Belgian strong darks and things of that nature. When you're talking about Saisons or, like, even Vit beers, you know, pale ales and stuff like that. When it comes to Belgian beers, the lighter ones, even triples are not my favorite. I do like some, and this is one of my favorite Belgian Saisons. Even though it's an American brewed one, it's still, I mean, you know, they call it American Saison, using Belgian yeast, all that stuff, whatever the case may be. But this is a very tasty beer from what I remember. But let's see how it is 8.5 months old. Be curious to see. Oh, it's coming. It is coming. It slowed down. So when we'd have like a little bit of an explosion of some sort there. But we didn't. Anyway, I got my Ommegang glass. I don't have a Boulevard glass, but we'll go with another American brewery that does the Belgian beers proper, in my opinion. Give it a pour here. Try to go a little bit slow. And imagine this head will be quite big if I go crazy. And I'm going to go crazy, and we're going to have a gigantic head because I'm an idiot. And I spilled some down the side. Oh, man, was that like... No, actually, the side inside. I'm awesome. I'm not. Okay, so that pours out this really nice, like, golden orange, like, murky color. There's very fine particulates inside the glass that I can see. This has an etching in the bottom, so you see the carbonation. Has about a 3-finger of a fluffy, bright looking head, like bright white. Yeah, very fluffy looking. Looks like a pillow. You want to just sleep on it. But yeah, it has a nice, as it's opening up, more orange coming out, but that looks beautiful. Looks like a great Saison. Let's see if I can get a nose past this 3-finger head. I hope so. Yeah, that's really nice. There's like a lot of straw qualities to this one. A lot of like wheat component to it. It also has a nice peppery note and a very zesty, like, lemon character, citrus to it. Getting slight touches like a banana clovey thing. Very mild. It's not like, you know, diving into like a Vit beer or something, or like just a stronger, or like, you know, like a German Hefeweizen has that banana and clove. It's not as strong in here, but it is, you know, there's a little bit of banana, a little bit of clove on the nose. There is a little bit of funk there. Yeah, a little barnyard funk. It's not like too noticeable, but I get it on the back end of the aroma. 8.5%, I can't even smell like this is going to be a big boozy beer. This smells like a, you know, a 5-6% really refreshing, just like Belgian pale ale or something. Yeah, really zesty from that citrus component, a nice peppery component as well. And then there's that funkiness hanging around the weedy straw component to the malt too. It has a nice sweetness, but that plays well with the peppery spice note and a little bit of that zesty citrus. So it has a nice sweetness, but you're cutting it with that zestiness from the citrus and a little bit of the peppery spice. Oh man, it smells kind of like what I remembered it smelling like. It's 8.5%. And for me, this beer is, a lot of people say it's super complex, and it might be for different palates. For mine, it's not like crazy complex, but what's there, it just works so well. So my mouth's watering. I want to get into it. So cheers, everybody. Man, that mouthfeel is superb. Oh, man. First things first, the body, 8.5%. It's like higher side of medium body. I think it's perfect. I think this is where I want this beer to be. Maybe even like closer to medium than lower side of full. It has enough heft behind it to let you know this is a bigger beer, but it doesn't get in the way. It's not syrupy, it's not thick, it's not viscous. It's just a little bit heftier than like a normal medium bodied beer. The mouthfeel is fluffy. It's somewhat creamy from that head, but then there's a really nice effervescent, really spritzy carbonation here, dancing on the tongue, so to speak. On the palate though, that malt hits up front. It's a nice sweet malt, like a sweet, like I said, wheat, almost like straw, kind of, just like a grainy sweetness from the malt. But as it passes through the palate, that zesty lemon, almost orange peel type of thing hits me. The pepper component as well has a nice peppery spice addition, especially on the palate. It's a little bit more pronounced than it was in the nose, and that hits right after that zestiness. And then as it finishes, there's, for me, there's this nice, like, it's going to sound weird, but like this fruity, almost like nondescript red berry type of sweetness coming on the back end. A little bit of like stone fruits, mango and like apricot, like candied sweetness to it. It's not too sweet. It's very noticeable because the rest of the palate's not really that sweet. And you're, halfway through the palate, like I said, zesty citrus peel, and then a little bit of that peppery spice. And then that fruit component hits me right after that, and it's really welcoming and really nice. Finish is semi-dry. This isn't a super dry beer for me. There is some residual sweetness, but I really like that finish of that like nondescript red berry candied stone fruit for me. Yeah, I can't detect this as 8.5%. There's a little bit of chest warming, probably the only indication I know this is like bigger than like a 5% beer. The flavors to me drink like a 7 or 8% beer, but the actual like alcohol content, I don't detect it, so it's like a 5% beer. Really scary from that aspect. This is crushable, but I don't want to crush it because it's 8.5%. I want to sit here and take my time with it. I didn't, I didn't give this a full pour. You can see where the head was, and it's a big head and whatnot. But I'm drinking this relatively easy at 8.5%. I think that speaks volumes about how good this beer is. And even though it's 8.5%, or 8.5%, it is 8.5%, I was going to say 8.5 months old, this still has a lot of pungent, punch you in your face kind of flavors. And I'd imagine this probably can age quite well. I'm sure somebody like Matt has probably aged this one or had aged bottles of this. But like 8.5 months old to like even, a couple months old, there is a difference. I feel like fresh, I get a little bit more of that zesty, peppery thing going on. But I think this would just change over time from the Belgian yeast. I don't get the banana clove I was getting in the nose, which I'm fine with. I kind of like that it has just the grainy weediness to it with the zestiness from the orange peel and the pepper, and then a little bit of that stone fruit and berry thing going on. Yeah, this is delicious beer. Here's the thing. Not my favorite style, I mentioned this, and when I rate these beers that aren't my favorite styles, I always like to put the style rating in just so you know how I classify this as far as the style goes, because the style is always going to have a higher rating in this situation than my personal preference. But if you're talking about, a American brewed Belgian Saison, this is like 4.75, close to 5 out of 5. Like this is, I don't think I've had a couple better Saisons, but like as far as a shelfie goes, and this is a shelf beer. I mean, this even makes it up to the LCBO in Ontario and Canada. I mean, as far as a shelf beer goes, at 8.5% alcohol by volume, being an American Saison, this is like a 4.75, almost a 5. It's a freaking amazing beer. And if you've never tried this one, you owe it to yourself, especially if you like Saisons. My personal preference, it changes depending on the bottle I'm having, depending on the day I'm having, just the mood I'm in. But right now, this is hitting me quite well. And I'm going to give Tank 7 from Boulevard, part of their Smokehouse or Smokestack series. I still think it's part of the Smokestack series, might not be. I'm going to give it a high 4.25 out of 5. I'm going to go 4.3 out of 5. Awesome beer. As far as the shelfie goes, it's one of the better ones that you can honestly pick up. Price and availability, I picked this one up for, I want to say it was, it was in the mixed 6-pack, $1.83, but I'm trying to remember. I think they have 6 packs of this, and it was like 14 or 15 bucks, maybe somewhere in that range. You're talking like $2.50 for an 8.5% beer of this quality. I'd pay that every day of the week. That's fantastic. And availability, wherever Boulevard gets distribution, they're all over the place now. So they're in many states in the US. I know they get distribution, like I said, up to Canada, definitely in Ontario, probably in Europe and whatnot. But yeah, if you've never had this one before, you like Belgian Saisons, and you want to try an extremely well-made, very tasty American version, this is one you need to seek out, because Tank 7 is just, to me, a classic. And it's a beer that I've had numerous times. I'll buy it again. And if I can find it in a mixed 6-pack for $1.83 a bottle, 2 thumbs up. So appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. We're getting down to the last couple days of mixed 6-pack theme month. I've been enjoying it, so hopefully you guys enjoy the last couple days, because this has been an awesome month. The sport's been outstanding, and I appreciate everybody commenting and viewing and all the good things that you do when it comes to YouTube. So once again, appreciate everybody stopping by. To the next one, cheers.